too. I fell in with you, didn't have a clue. Didn't get to go, we were in my room. Shut the door, started to swoon. And we were so young, we were so young, we were so young. We did things we've never done. Floated the river to set fire. Hung around with rodents in the sun, had fun. I remember what it looked like and how it felt. I remember what you looked like and how you felt. Ooh, 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 ooh. I remember Philadelphia, mama stricken from bucket drums, walking in the park, back to your apartment. I was so young, what a rush, things I'd never done. You were making salsa, margaritas, you were very sweet. I was cold, words were said, walked out the door. What for? I don't remember anymore. Oh, what for? I don't remember anymore. Start fresh, forgive all those false starts and fake hymns. Have thoughts clipped before they could even settle behind my eyes. The faster we move through our days, the more we lose the decays. Lights out and heads down, like when we were so young, when we were so young. Looking back at that young start, wasn't it so much easier then? When all we had to do was swing and kick and swing and kick. Underdog, set it off, let it go and fly I remember what it looked like and how it felt. I remember what you looked like and how you felt. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I remember what it looked like and how it felt. I remember what you looked like and how you felt. Ooh, ooh. I remember what it looked like and how it felt. I remember what you looked like and how you felt. I remember what it looked like and how it felt. I remember what you looked like and how you felt.
Hey, it's Eric Mayson.
Hey, look, it's Abby Wolf.
Boom.
We're Boom Zoom. We're on Zoom. Coming to you live to tape.
From our studios, in
Yeah.
our separate homes. How far away is Mankato from Minneapolis?
Oh, like an hour and 20 or 15.
Right.
But it feels, during this time, it feels like worlds away. I don't know where I am or what day it is or who I am or what I'm doing.
Same.
But
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here making stuff with you.
Yes.
And we're both glad to be able to share it with you, dear watcher, whoever you are.
Yeah, thank you for checking us out. Thank you to MMC for having us at the 2020 Music Summit.
Yeah, so here's some things we've been doing. That was a thing that you just heard, and then here's another thing.
Oh, space, relation with no name, family without blood, friends and siblings, and all sorts of lovers. I love her, and it never gets old to say, hey, hey, hey. Winter, an inconvenience, or a test of your willpower. The earth is sleeping, and it's decorated with silence. Staring at the sea tells you life is immense, and it teaches you to avoid the future tense and say no. I I will not fall asleep, not after what I've seen. I want you to mean it, I want you to see this. Look at the horizon and tell me there's nothing left to know. Oh, is that so? Everyone can see that you're grasping at straws, but some prefer to grasp along. But I've always thought that the greatest word in the English language has always been baby. There is anarchy in us all. I do not believe what my senses receive, 'cause laying way down deep, sleeping silently with passionate intensity, human head, lion body. Did I stay out late last night? Was there someone else messing about in here? Light inspired fear, shining like shadows. Take the risk, something just to stop the spin. Toughen up the skin. Everybody is a path along the precipice. So my strategy would be to proceed, but I can't find my feet. There's a dull ache at the base of my skull today. I can't push it away because I push my head right off my body. I might need it again someday. Who's driving this thing home? I've got a feeling, yeah. I'm thinking it's the north wind. Don't you know that there's a stranger, and it occupies the back nine of your mind? You should really know by now, but the lights go out when you exit, 'cause there's nobody home when you're under. Some prefer the love of fantasy of life, Hoping this love money is trying to keep the engine and running till doomsday. Turn it over and over and underneath. I gave it the old college try. I made it pretty far, but I had no foresight. These days I come and I go. These days I flutter and fly. Some things I just had to set aside. I cannot be made to pick up a reply, 'cause this talking is a trap. Action in a maze. I'm sinking down, 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 in and out of a phase. So I bind my hands right to the mast, so I don't sail my ship into the rocks. Hear that lovely song at last. The dead hand of the past. The dead hand of the past. Relinquish your bearings. What's waiting for you at sea? Pick the wolf you need. Open palm when you feed. Careful not to lose control. Catalog your needs. 'Cause once the wolf is grown and it bares its shining teeth, the other wolves will cower and howl and never get back on their own 4 feet. Careful who you feed. Careful who you feed. At night, I don't mourn the loss of light. Look, there's not a soul in sight. And I start having these ideas at night. Standing on an endless shore, constellations made of sand. And I can see the master plan. I can see the plan at night. Laughing at my waking life, laughing at the stress and strife, and dancing across an open mind, letting go of time at night. I knocked at a wooden door. I heard the creaking floor inside, and through the window I could not see in the room. There was not a moon that night. As the door opened, a tidal wave of fright met with a familiar sight. And as I beckoned for me to come inside, I had met myself that night, Crossing over the threshold of the door. I was a young man, I was an old man, I wasn't one man. I was letting go of a thought, letting go of my skin and everything around me. I was undone, I was undone, I was undone, I was undone. All roads lead to nothing, means things aren't what they seem. Are ripping. I'll go back to sleep. In an ancient breeze, do I breathe with ease? 'Cause I left something swinging around in the trees. An afterthought, one that laughter brought, victorious without a single battle fought. With their bare hands, they prepared the land and set out to combat chaos in all of its forms. A noble cause with intractable thoughts. The price of giving up your tail and your claws. Come home now, lights on. We'd love to see you. Come home now, lights on. We'd love to see you. Now that the veil is lifted, now that the sunlight gleams, it can be terrifying when you notice the seams. So I can be circumventive, yeah, I can be downright mean. I can try to be anything if you think that's what you need. Ooh, 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 staring at of an angel be. Ooh, ooh, I can feel it in the air I breathe. Oh, with the blood that I bleed. Come home now, my son. We long to see you. Come home now, lights on. We love to see you. Up at the peak, we hide and seek. An old mystique showed up and made a scene. Shrouded in shadow, carrying cargo, which in a word puts you behind the scenes, where the deck gets reshuffled and there's no such thing as triviality. 'Cause up at the peak, I see for weeks, and my mind is a tangled mess of time. Day follows night, like the flapping of a great black wing. Oh, my eyes, my tiny heart, the immortality of our machines, a ne'er-do-well stands between reality and me, a Gnostic hell, atom by atom in excruciating detail. Every thought I'd ever thought when I looked into the bottomless well, and I got lost on an outer orbit. Now I'm sapient again. Oh, I'm impaled by the sound of the westbound train and the walls falling in. Weighed down with rain, and oh, I am nailed to the ground, and I am downloading. I am nailed to the ground, disassembling. Why do we fear The authenticity of life, pushed it away. Reflexively retreat from complexity. We build up walls, overstressed, overworked, and overdressed. Neocortex, the rearview mirror can't help you with what's coming next.
Okay.
I hear you.
Thank you to the Minnesota Music Coalition for making the 2020 Minnesota Music Summit possible. We'd also like to thank the following sponsors of the event for their continuous support to the music community: Wild Sound Recording Studio, True Facade Pictures, Jonathan Johnson, The Current, and Mendoza Law.
Yeah, and lastly, this activity is made possible by the voters of Minnesota through a grant from the Metropolitan Regional Arts Council, thanks to a legislative appropriation from the Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, and through the City of St. Paul's Cultural Star Grant Program.
To find out how you can support the MMC and its various artist programs, please visit their website, mnmusiccoalition.org.
And please stick around for Ben Weaver, who is the next summit performer up next.
At last, alone, at rest, at home, face to face, our cover is blown. We fear space, don't we? Fear emptiness, don't we? We fear stillness, don't we? We fear silence, don't we? Fear missing out, don't we? Fear fucking up, don't we? Fear difference, don't we? Fear being alone. System burning in high gear, bottles coming left and right. empty by the end of the night. Turning home like you see, this fatigue is feeling deep. Or will I fall out of the sky? I welcome it, ask me why. 'Cause you feel space, don't you? Feel emptiness, don't you? You feel connection, don't you? Feel eye contact, and I feel deep water. I feel disapproval. I feel wasting all. I fear being alone. Fear being I caught a glimpse through the window. The glass was covered in dust. The screen made a grid. The door was open. I could see the bricks across the yard. The only thing left on the wall is a calendar that got the date wrong. It seems to suggest that a new month is the perfect time to turn the page. If you spend enough time in one place, you grow into the corners. You spend enough time in one place, you create dust and dishes in the sink. Enough time in one place, you grow into the corners. You spend enough time in one place, you create and dishes in the sink. The reasons I could think of to stay are always outweighed by the path I'm on. And the ratio is always 2 to 1. And the radio is always playing the same song. You spend enough time in one place, you grow into the corners. If you spend enough time in one place, you create dust in dishes in the sink. Enough time in one place, see the circles and scenery. You spend enough time in one place, you create dust. Time in one place. Time in one place. Time in one place. Dust. Time in one place. Time in one place. Time in one place. Dust. Most truth be sold as fabrication. Sci-fi with soul, translucent yarn spun. Spin me away. Midnight mission, Jan or lantern. To the bridge I run, or the center. Down, down, let it plunge, or the rest sure it's all there. It's all there. Ooh, it's a paper hive in the to sleep. Empty buildings, but imaginations are for the street lights shining over the road. Sidewalks are dark in the city at night. When I walk with my friends, the people move out, the people move in the people move out. The people move, the people move. Yes, hard to believe what I'm saying is everything is all the same when the trees become our houses and the dinosaurs are skies. Time moves forward quickly, doesn't wait for anything. And time moves forward slowly, so we just heard it rain. And time will wait forever until the work is over. Until the work is over. Never showed us. Choose right in your beliefs. Lose yourself when you show up. When you show up. Lose yourself when you show up.
Okay.
That was so much fun.
Super fun.
What a weird process to be playing music together, very much apart.
Indeed. Everything that weird is the word of the year for sure. But thank you for being here with us and listening to it. And we had a blast making it.
Absolutely. It felt really good to be able to connect in this way, even during these crazy times. And we are gonna play one more song for you.
One more. All right. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Chemical reaction unstable, hard to know how long we've got with that breach in the hole. Feels tonight, swing forward from messy visions, fight or flight. We're going down, know the date and the time. What kind of pre-roll are you giving me? That was one beat. I can't forgive you if you retreat from me. Mind into. I know some people who can let it go. Well, like deep down, but we also grow. Fighting leaves like something irrational. This wake us, and it's handed down by a genetic code. What kind of reward are you giving me? That was one beat. I can't forgive you if you retreat from me.
All right, hey everybody, my name is Ben Weaver. This is not an unnormal thing for me to be doing a concert in the woods, but it is abnormal to be getting filmed while I'm doing it. But that's how I'm getting these songs to y'all for this concert. So hope you enjoy it. Maybe it's an Appaloosa. The rain grew cold on my arms. Across the Rocky Mountain, everything that lives is warm. The eldest of the elders read our fortune. Fire flickered in the skillet grease. If we listen to what the land is saying, it'll tell us what it needs. And patterns from a bark beetle, the timber that built our house, walking home through the bellflower beard tongue, catching stars on their way down. They found her in the arms of a butcher. The horizon split the prairies apart, and there go all of our burdens, like fireflies let out of a jar. And I've seen dogs going crazy. I slept down there by the train. Everything I own, it fits in a matchbox. Everything else I gave away. And I know where I'm going, not sure which road I'll take. I'm sitting in the kitchen playing my banjo. On the right side of the rain. On the right side of the rain. On the right side. Day after day we ramble. You're always the wind at my back. The mountains all around us, hidden by lightning bolts to the sweet grass. It takes a buffalo to see a bluebird, counting cattle through a boxcar door. She cut my hair with a broken bottle, wove the ends in with a braid of her own. When I stare into the eyes of an animal, I always find at least one honeybee. The hex fly got taken by a cutthroat, so busy thinking downstream. And we're all a part of the bear skin, freckles scattered on the ground. In her eyes, all the stars that carry everywhere coming down. And I've seen dogs going crazy. I slept under the train. Everything I own, it fits in a matchbox, and everything else I gave away. Well, I know where I'm going, not sure which road I'll take. I'm sitting in the kitchen playing my banjo. On the right side of the rain. On the right side of the rain. On the right side. sky spins on, the moon borrows light, divided by animal and absorbed in the trees. Whatever happens, that's all I ever want, while the riprap leads toward the center of the wheel. But I ain't going back, I ain't going back there no more. Finally I can see the moon now that the barn burned down. I ain't going back. There's always more fireflies if you cut across the field of traveling, and the unraveling, it all gets buried by worms. No one owns a bird song, the landscape sets the pace. There's space in the cracks if you need to slip away. But I ain't going back, I ain't going back there no more, not rich by what I own, rich by what I let go. I ain't going back. Never a bad word about anyone, as this old river spoke. If I was a prairie, I would miss the buffalo. And sometimes the silence, it swallows up the sound, and sometimes it's the other way around. But I ain't going back, I ain't going back there no more, not rich by what I own, rich by what I let go. I ain't going back. And in the acorn resides the pattern of the oak, all those thunderstorms sleeping out on the door. And everything's connected by the dirt beneath our feet. Black ash gave the swamp what was left of its leaves. But I ain't going back, I ain't going back there no more. You can take my bones from the wild, can't take the wild from my bones. I ain't going back. You can take my bones from the wild, you can't take the wild from my bones. I ain't going back. You can take my bones from the wild, you can't take the wild from my bones. Up at Dead Horse Point, looking out on the Shadowlands, patches all over my coat. I got a story for each one. I seen an eagle with a fish, I felt it in my shoulder blade. Up the trail I go, bent into the grade. I just wanna get out of town. I just I wanna sleep on the ground. Two feathers in the tall grass, was it a dream or was it real? The ecstasy had drifted, got me with a wolf at my heel. And lemons and limes and nickels and dimes, lovesick and restless, chewing on white bark pine. With all the tread gone, I was riding on nothing but wire. The birds flew across my heart, then went straight for the fire. went down the Mississippi, went around the Great Lake. I woke up on a mountaintop, my hair full of snowflakes. I saw skulls in the moonlight, twisting and turning on the bed. There's dragons in the moat, that's what the card I pulled says. And as it turned out, ain't no hotel in Terrell. Remember the light in New Orleans and that pile of oyster shells? Making sweet tea in the sun while the canyon walls ring. I heard blues in the sycamore, never did see the hummingbird's wings. If it gets dark for a while, just look in my eyes and don't forget the darkness made the stars come alive. And the truth I learned was passed down through thunderbolts. When you look in my eyes, just go where I'm gonna go. I heard a rumbling in the distance, saw 3 boulders roll off the ledge. Change never comes from the middle, it's carried back from the edge. Don't fall asleep on the road, keep a stone in your shoe. Day-old bread and gravy kept me ahead of the blues. And I never forgot all that rum in your eyes. You had a match in your teeth, never could change my mind. I'm headed into the wind, gonna blaze my own way. I melted the ends with a match, so I know they won't fray. Temperance and justice, 1 foot on land and 1 in the stream. I cut the strings at my back, I'm floating down with the leaves. And there's a hole in the clouds where the sun always shines. If you go looking too hard, it's gonna pass you right by. Twisting and turning every road you go down. Late in the evening, like bees moving pollen around. Built a fire in a pit of stones, tore at the petals just to see. And I talked to the wolf, but I was not surprised when the wolf talked back to me. And I'm bending and shaking, and I refuse to look away. I'm standing up through the swords, got me pinned down yesterday. Like a rock, my heart shows more color when it rains. Sun going down on the fox-tooth horizon, shapeshifter all lit up in a sacred blaze. Well, I'm jumping and shouting, and I don't speak a bloodless tongue. And time will clean the bones, but today is up to us. Don't lose the roots for the sake of the branch. Don't let the river slip out through the cracks. Moose in the road, a raven and a crow. Bring the good times with you when you go. But I'm rolling and tumbling, and I got the moon in my lap. like a knife in the orchard, cutting stars loose from the burlap down to our skin at the roof of the cage. Turbid water cutting at the banks, planting wild seeds in the wolf's tracks. Don't take more than you plan on giving back. But I'm worried and wandering, and I won't be worried long, 'cause I'm headed up the country and I ain't looking back from this point on. The old stories are full of cracks. The worms, they've eaten up the map. I'm reaching down for my boots beneath the bent moon. I'm headed off to wear a brand new path. Yeah, I don't really have very much to say to a camera, but I'm happy to be sitting here and singing some songs. These are some new songs I'm singing and some old songs, and I feel like new songs are more exciting than old songs right now. But this is an older song. Dear X, my heart is an empty lake beyond a turn in the road. Bottom's so rusty, it's making me see stars. Covered in patchwork, your letters arrived. Swept the field up in my arm, trying to reply. Sugaroo blossom, can we be lovers next time round? Eyes cut like jasper where the highway came through. Despite all the distances of Jacques Brel in the snow, leaves on the river, oh mercy, wherever it goes. I'll wait for you, but I won't wait too long. Got a wolf in my kitchen, and this pot's about to boil. Dear X, I went down yonder river, spent my weeks, my months, my days, eating nothing but green willow. Tears were all I drank. It's a lie to say my heart wasn't restless. Almost felt like someone poured the sky into it. No time to wait, wondering if it's meant to be. Seen it all come and go, chasing robins up the stream. And way down the road from the towns we left behind, rain filled the horns with rain and the ditches lit with clouds. If the next train don't stop, well, I'll catch it on the fly. Send a crow back through the blizzard so you know I'm alright. Dear X, I still come back to that night on the beach. Half the words ran off the page and the rest came back as rain. So often the shiny stones turned out to be bottle caps. The wind whipped through your braids all twisted in the zodiac. But I was never one to waste an apple core. Tiny mouse pulling a moon through a hole in the floor. Picking up the pieces that got dropped along the way. Never been one to go back the way I came. Hope you found someone who can sew your buttons on. A soul in this dark night to wrap your arms around. I'm gonna read you all a poem. This poem's called "The Red Birds of My Blood." I overheard the trees talking to themselves, while wind slipped between their trunks, and the red birds of my blood swarmed through watery stars. This is what I heard. Remember that grief and magic coexist. Everything you need is already present inside of you. The medicine is scattered everywhere. Appeal to people's spirits rather than to their training. Validate their willingness to deviate. Create space for the paradoxes to exist. Engagement replaces fear. Remember, both action and inaction have an impact. This work is in honor, not a burden. Stay with the inquiry of how it can be better. The future does not evolve in the echo chamber. The future lies in engaging with difference. Don't act in resistance or duality, but instead cultivate reciprocity. When you address water and plants as the living beings that we are, we will tell you profound things. Your reality is only as vast as the diversity of the relationships that you nurture. So don't personify the river, riverify yourself, and restore your courage in the flash of its teeth. Name yourself after the land, don't name the land after yourself. A heart the size of a match will burn out like one too. Always work in service of imagination. Sit close to the fire and keep it true. Do not retreat to your private life. The predictable stories are the ones lived in fear, while the stories with no clear endings or beginnings are lived in witness to love. Transaction and reciprocity are not the same. Get as close to the darkness as an owl. Consider that the answers you seek are not material, but rather spiritual, thus forever fluid. So to best receive them, you must hollow yourself out so their messages can ring through you. Remember that conflict can be the work working. Aim for the heart to affect the mind so that hands can reach. And do not fret, because there is always more water coming to join the river. Empty out my pockets, I'm woven to it. Handfuls of water, two trees grown together. Bedrocks at the surface. Now my bones are showing. The rivers jump in channels. The stars pass right through you. Heed the early warning. Plowed into the corn row. Brown eyes and jackknives. Go tell the mountain. You don't know what to do in the dark, dark night. Feeling all alone, waiting for blue sky. Hold the window open and throw the ropes down. Let me crawl in and show me the way out. Drinking muddy water in a hollow log. Even if my head is weary, my spirit is strong. And this is when we blow out the dark. This is where birds fly right out of my heart. Hoist the stars up and rip the chains off the clock. Don't leave the wildflowers to burn on their stalks. Living in the middle of a hurricane. Fire on the prairie, smoke above the woodline. It goes further than our story, where the moon is full of antlers. And all of these possessions are forfeits to your freedom. Ain't nobody owns nothing we're just passing through here. But I saw a river in the eye of the river. It said, return to the forest and be still in opposition. If you don't know what to do in the dark, dark night, feeling all alone, waiting for blue sky. Hold the window open and throw the ropes down. Let me crawl in and show me the way out. Drinking muddy water in a hollow log. Even if my head is weary, my spirit is strong. This is when we blow out the dark. This is where birds fly right out of my heart. Hoist the stars up and rip the chains off the clock. Don't leave the wildflowers to burn on their stalks. Living in the middle of a hurricane. Got another poem. This poem is called Rain on the Seeds. I've got maps spread out all over the kitchen floor, headwaters splintering into deltas, whose braids run so far down their back they touch the ground, sweeping up seeds behind them as they walk. Snow blowing down my collar, rain leaking in through my boots, the river is depositing silt into my hair, whittled down to sap. I'm letting the light in, however it wants to get in. Out in the darkness of the frozen lake, there are fish suspended in the top 6 inches of ice, whose bodies keep the dreams of last summer's water safe through the winter. Held here, they will wait until the sun returns, loosening their fins and blood back into the water's running hands. The part of me that is watercress, grizzly shoulder, lark sparrow crown, or big blue stem inflorescence has been walking in the middle of the night near the fork of a creek at the foot of a hill, curled into the metabolism of damp leaves and mossy undersong. I'm troubled and unable to return to sleep. What must we do to ensure a future where living does not come at such cost to life, where watersheds are not choked, where human beings are not wage slaves, where value systems are based in generosity, not accumulation? Far off through the darkened trees, I hear a clanking and a banging, as though a 50-gallon steel barrel filled with nails and ball bearings is being rolled over roots, river stones, and deadfall. I can smell the smoke and dirt sweat of whoever is pushing the barrel. They will use any means necessary to take what they're coming for, offering nothing in return when they leave. My eyes burn while watching into it. I press my ear hard against the earth. The days are lengthening, and any day now the water will begin to run. I take up 2 stars with my collar and listen. I melt the snow that has fallen on the back of my neck and drink it. Planted in the rootiness of creation, I am flecked with mycelium, soaked by fear that has dried into love. Soaked by fear that has dried into love. I lick my hands and then my feet, tasting the blood metal of the cosmos on my tongue. Awakened by the undoneness of it all, pinned to Orion's arcing back. I'm spiraling through the darkness, in the same way the grandmothers used to do it, so slow that the conquerors will never notice my escape. So the other day I was on the way home from a ride, and I came across a coyote and a black lab fighting in a pond, on the edge of a pond, and they ended up in the pond. And I'm writing a really long essay about it because there were so many metaphors in what I saw, and it went on for quite a long time. And my son and I were the ones who eventually separated both animals. And don't really want to spoil my whole story because I want to tell it together. But at the point in which they fell into the water together, they were like joined, and they were turning over and churning on top of each other, and you really literally couldn't tell which animal was which. And in that moment, I realized, that both animals needed to survive the encounter, and that the way that we tell stories in terms of there being two different sides, good and bad, dark and light, always creates this other. And when we do that, we don't see the lab in the coyote, and we don't see the coyote in the lab. And we've minimized the value of each animal or each other, just in the same way that the way that we value the land reflects in how we value bodies and life of all kinds. So the coyote in the lab, it was incredible. It was a gift. So when I finish my essay, I'll share it, and I hope you all get a chance to read it. Hawk-eyed nephew, clutched at the branch tops, part gift, part burden, up above the river mouth. Every time I look, well, you always in the road, but there ain't nothing behind you, just a thin line in the snow. Connected by a chain, carved from one piece of bone. In order to be clear, water must run. In the civil twilights, the strip shasted on my tracks. I slept good in the lowland, like hell in the sumac. Where am I gonna sing when the wind ain't got no trees and there's nothing to hold on to but a pocket full of seeds? Connected by a chain, carved from one piece of bone. But in order to be clear, water must run. Maybe you heard wooden axle clanking up the moon. Well, great grandma, she's coming with a forest full of truth. Take this mighty river, hold it to your eyes. When the fish look up through the mud, they see the same stars as you and I. Connected by a chain, carved from one piece of bone. But in order to be clear, water must run. Uncle Whistlebones believes that the sun, the rain, the wind, well, the earth is a spirit from which all life extends. A wet stone and black dirt with a beautiful laugh. So don't leave a trace, 'cause her eyes can burn grass. Connected by a chain, carved from one piece of bone. But in order to be clear, water must run. In order to be clear, water must run. fire in the wind and fan the flames of discontent. And with pieces of driftwood I stake out my tent. I'm lying in the dark, just listening to the wind. The only clean thing I hear is the tune they're whistling. Connected by a chain, carved from one piece of bone. In order to be clear, water must run. In order to be clear, water must run. In order to be clear, water must run. Some days I go walking with a dog, just to go where a dog wants to go. And I leave the dirt under my nails, 'cause I'd rather be buffalo. And on the banks praying for fish hooks, on the banks losing leaves, the answers point straight back into the trees. And raccoon became thunderbird, thunderbird became raccoon. And up over the clouds I couldn't tell the bird from the blue. Day in and day out, the chipped tooth, the open claw, fox blood and wing dust, thorns in the mud, bird understander in my pocket, walnut stains on the cuffs of my jacket, shaking the cold off just like a dog. And all this shadowy fertile chaos, and to what else can I like in the world? Clouds moving through the whites of a longhorn sheep's eye, from which snow falls into the feathers of a crow flying by. Spine blood from a trout sun-dried on the rocks, washed by the river into the fur of a bear wading across. Carried back in the woods and then pulled off on a branch, where it blows in the wind till me and the dog walk past. On our way back home, up over the clouds. Can't tell the bird from the blue, thunderbird from the raccoon. Yeah, so I'm gonna just talk to these trees for a minute, because I just like when people are in front of me and I'm holding space and we're like riding bikes in the woods and playing shows, or I'm riding through the mountains and playing shows. It's just so easy to feel like people's energy and then know what to say or know what to do. And I've never felt like my songs are like, I don't ever feel like I own them. I feel like I just am like the messenger to help them pass through. And I feel like they're a part of everything that's around me. And that I'm realizing in this time, like where I'm not playing shows and I'm not doing digital, I haven't done any streaming concerts because it just doesn't feel authentic to me. And as I was just playing that last song, I realized like it's because the people are as much a part of my songs as the words or the trees or the places that I go. And it just doesn't, like, I can sit in my house, in my room, and write songs and sing songs because I am having a relationship with myself and with my space to do that. But I appreciate the Minnesota Music Coalition, and I appreciate, you know, what we're all trying to do. But I do feel like really strongly that it's worth considering this word simulacrum. It's a word that like I keep thinking about, and at a time where there's been this like huge fracture, you know, like what are we gonna do, and like what do we want to do? Do we want to just like continue to simulate the pieces from the other time that we know didn't really work, or do we want to use our imaginations to imagine something completely different? Because when I listen to like my body, I strongly feel that our imaginations are what is being oppressed. And that's through like our daily patterns. It's through the relationships that we have that, you know, may not have as much consent as they need in them. It's through all of these sort of like normalized and precipitated pieces of life that we have learned to perpetuate. And we've kind of sacrificed our imaginations for that. And so this time, you know, I felt like really strongly that instead of just getting on Zoom concerts and trying to do like Instagram feeds and all that, that it was really felt kind of mythological. And like, as a mythological creature, it felt like time to listen to like the elders and the teachers and see what was happening rather than try to make like broad, you know, all inclusive or like proclaim statements. And I still feel that way. So I feel actually pretty uncomfortable sitting here doing this for you all. But I feel like I wanted to follow through with my commitment to do a concert and to provide some music. And I think it's it's a fragile time. And I think that it's a time where we have even now, after we are, you know, the stay-at-home order has been lifted, there's still so much opportunity to sort of pick the path, and like whether that is to just return back to the norm, or whether that's to like truly use our imaginations to imagine something other than like a dual world of good and bad, or of like war mentality. So I know that's like the realm from which my songs come and find me. And so if that's helpful, then I'm glad to be here. There was thunder, there was rain, the gifts and the wounds bared out by the grain. When I woke up, you were gone. A bird in the window and mud in the yard, and I couldn't tell which side of the dream I was on. And at the tip of my tongue, there the wind stood, our wildness overlapping like wings on feathers should. I pushed my eyes down into my heart, herds of animals dropped from the clouds. I couldn't tell which side of the dream I was on. With a wink and a nod to the formless realm, I walked in at the place where the story folds back on itself, and I tried to find some way to grieve, stitching ravens to my feet from where they call to the trees. But this time my feathers were real, and the lantern I carried chased my shadow all night through the field. But I couldn't tell which side of the dream I was on. I couldn't tell which side of the dream I was on. Then along came a bear with a cedar bough on their back, the person no longer separate from the path. And even though it all looks green, the yellows, oranges, and reds are always there in the leaf. And this time I'm holding the door for the wind and the lightning running out ahead of the storm. And I couldn't tell which side of the dream I was on. Gravity and grace, that's how the piece should unfold. Every step I take is a prayer to the unknown. In the same way that bright ashes rise, blinking memories of light into the dark night. My heart sits in the riverbank, giving my kids room to flood so they can fill their own shapes. Just when the fire went out, the end jumped right back into the beginning's mouth. And I couldn't tell which side of the dream I was on. I couldn't tell which side of the dream I was on. I couldn't tell which side. Looks like it's gonna rain out here. All right, so I've got one more poem for you all before I ride my bicycle home. I want to thank the Minnesota Music Coalition for having me and giving me the option to do a recorded concert instead of a live streaming concert, so that I could be out here in the woods, and also just feel a little bit more natural about it. These are definitely they're really powerful times, I would say. And I think originally this concert was supposed to be around like a climate theme, and I think that's gonna maybe happen next year. But like with the lab and the coyote and what I was saying earlier, I feel that we're all related and everything is connected, and you can't extract anything without impacting something else. And this poem that I'm going to read is called Considering Leaves, and it's a poem that I wrote a couple years ago. It came to me just in a flash. I wrote it all down in one moment kind of, and it was about power. It was a little bit inspired by John Trudell, who would talk a lot about people as the ones with the power, not necessarily the people that we elect. And so I feel like it's a time to be creative, and it's a time to be open to transformation, and it's a time to listen and to pay attention and to be humble, and to join with one another and listen to all the different kinds of wisdom and knowledge that's available to us. It's not just in our heads, it's in all of the parts of our body, and it's in each other, and it's in all the other living things that we share this place with, water and trees and animals, and sitting in with all this pine straw here and in the forest and the plants that are coming up. And there's a lot to learn and a lot to gather, and to be grateful for. So I say it's about imagination and taking our imaginations back and figuring out what we can create, and then starting to work together to do that. So thank you. I'm going to read this poem, and then I've got one more song to sing. These poems are from my poetry subscription, which is a quarterly letterpress poetry subscription that I do called Bike Wilder Poetry. And you can sign up for that on my website if you want, or buy other poems and things that I have there. You could rake leaves while the glaciers melt and horses stand somewhere in a field with the sound of wind blowing rain into their manes. You could go to a job you don't love and live in a house you don't want and sit in traffic and feel trapped watching the eagles dive above the light posts and power lines. Or you could stop raking and lay down in the dirt with the leaves scattering around you, smelling like the coming snow and the rattling ghosts of summer lightning. You could pick up a river and hold it to your eye, watch a turtle crawl through it, the light turbulent out of the sky beyond the bluffs. Instead of serving these mad corporations and lawmakers, oblivious to the dew on the pig's hindquarters at morning, or the effort it takes ducks to find food after such a wet summer, you could sit round a fire next to the lake and listen as the water carries voices from a canoe out somewhere near the middle, back to your camp along the stony shore. And as the fire licks at the red pines, you could uncover a memory that smells like moose hooves and orchids, wild rice hulls and trumpeter swans, and helps you to remember the millions of invisible miracles which must occur within the sky so that a blizzard can become a blizzard. This memory is what the mad kings and architects of the anthropomorphic rivers want you to forget. Because if you do not remember the smell or feel of the land, then you will believe anything they tell you about it, including that it is just another body to exploit. But if you remember the sound of waves pulling back through the hair of beaches, or the ring among icicles in sparrow caves, then you have not forgotten all of your freedom and power to the ruthlessness of modern convenience. And if you remember otters sliding across the lake at dusk or a bear rushing back into the alder, then you also remember that you are among the millions of tiny miracles within the sky that allow a blizzard to become a blizzard. And if you can remember this, then you can speak, sing, and dream loud as thunder for every quiet piece of land and water on this earth, because you have not forgotten that you, not the mad kings, are the one with power. Light your fire by the river, sleep on the ground. Ramble, 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 it's the only way back home. See the crows coming, tell your story to the smoke. What can't hold itself up on the land, I say, let it go. Great grandma, she hit a lightning bolt, no workbench faces wood. Said there's a hole in the bucket now, you hear, go fix it good. Sister Chestnut wraps some berries up in a torn piece of screen. She buried them under the porch so we wouldn't lose the seeds. 'Cause we all live downstream. We all live down. Well, I'll ride out in the morning with enough food for a couple of days. Whatever I need after that, I'll just find along the way. Tell old hawk-eyed nephew there were dingo in my dreams, and a coyote on the roadside throwing his eyes up in a tree. And I followed the sound of water like wind through bullet holes, till I came across an old grizzly, said I'm running out of room to roam. Let me tell you a story, I'll draw it with my knife. We ain't the only ones on this land trying to survive. 'Cause we all live downstream. We all live down. Well, I come to believe the harvest depends on what you plant. But after we go by, the birds will settle on the branch. Whatever's in your heart's gonna show up in your eyes. There's no such thing as time, there's just wind and ice. Great grandma, she always said, leave extra tracks like a fox and go through this life like water around a rock. I see old hawk-eyed nephew with sister chestnut in the mud. Let's go quietly to the woods, the river some room to flood. 'Cause we all live downstream. We all live down. Thank you.